name's Chris. This is the Chamael Corp, and today we're going to be doing something that we're going to call Does This Work or Not? And that is in regards to leveraging styrofoam for like a greebly or a wall panel. Don't go away. We're gonna get back to it. So, styrofoam has potentially some great applications. You know, the design is unique. It looks like it would fit in with a, you know, on a sci-fi wall, like inside of a ship or something like that, right? The problem is, A, it's soft. B, the surface isn't perfectly flat, right? You've got all these little indentations and imperfections. So is there a way to A, harden it enough so it will take paint? Because if you try and spray paint styrofoam, it will just chew away at the styrofoam itself. And B, can we get it smoothed out to the point where it can sit on a wall and look like it's supposed to be part of that structure? And then inside you can either have like a small screen or design your own greebly or something to fit in there to really give it that pop. So that is what we're going to be doing today. So why don't we, without further ado, jump right in.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we are applying Mod Podge. You know, you can find this at any craft store like a Michael's or a Joanne Fabrics or something like that, but what it does is you brush it on and it creates a hard layer that you can then paint over. What you didn't see here is that I've actually done 3 coats of this, and it can be pretty time consuming, so that's just something to keep in mind if you're looking at this technique. It's cheap, but it does take time. And then after it dried, we come out and we hit it with a spray primer. It's just a flat primer, there's nothing special. And what that does is it's really going to show us how the Mod Podge covered, if there's enough on there to take the paint, if we have any of the styrofoam eating away. So it's going on pretty good. No complaints. Okay, so if you don't use Mod Podge, this is what your styrofoam is going to look like after you paint it. So you can see the difference. On the Mod Podge, we actually have really good coverage, whereas the untreated styrofoam was being eaten away by the spray paint, which is what we were trying to avoid. All in all, so far so good. However, we do have still quite a bit of that styrofoam texture. So now what I'm doing is I'm coming in with a filler primer. This is from Duplicolor, which you can find at auto shops. It's an automotive filler primer. Fills 3D prints really well. I thought I'd try it out here. Unfortunately, it didn't do what I wanted to do. So my next step was going to a basic Drydex Spackle that you can get at a hardware store. I have done this, I've used this rather, for filling 3D prints, like I used it on the helmet and the chest piece for my Mandalorian armor, with a lot of success. The one thing you can't do with this after it's dry is you can't use water to clean it, to get like the dust and things like that off. So that's something that you just need to be aware of. The water will erode it, and then all of your hard work is basically gone. But you know, you can see on the side of this where we still have that styrofoamy texture. You've got like the little holes and the porousness that shines through, and it's not really what we want with this. We're really looking for something smooth that could kind of pass as almost a metal. Now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm sanding everything off. You want to sand down the spackle after it's dry, because what that's going to do is it's going to take it back down to that base layer and only leave what is filled. You know, it's the same as like a Bondo or something like that, right? And here I'm taking some canned air to clean it off. Like I mentioned, you really can't use water on this. Then we're going back over it with more just flat primer. Okay. Look. This is kind of where we're at. Some of it worked, some of it didn't.
Okay. So the last layer of paint is dry. And now the question we need to ask is this a feasible option to seal and smooth styrofoam in order to make it look like it's a part of a console or a wall? There are parts of this where it's smoothed out really well. That's mostly where I got the Spackle heavier. Other parts, no. So with a lot of work, I think it could be effective, but it's probably more effort than it's worth. So I would say this did not work. So this is where you come in the comments. Let us know if you've done something like this, what has worked for you and what hasn't worked for you. And then we can all learn from each other. Hey, I appreciate you tagging along, watching this, seeing that not everything you try works. I think that's a valuable lesson. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that bell notification so that when we post new content, you get notified. And have a great week. Thank you. And as always, keep creating.